Hi guys, this is day 5 notes for geometry. This is segments, midpoints, and bisectors. Up in the warm-up, it's asking you how many dimensions each object has. Remember that if an object has 0 dimensions, it is so super tiny that it does not have any length, width, or height, and therefore this point right here has 0 dimensions. The line at the beginning is one-dimensional. It has a length. Two dimensionals, has a length and a width. This smiley face, which is flat, has no thickness, so it doesn't have a third dimension, but it does have 2. And the triangle is also flat. It has no thickness, and so it also has 2 dimensions. The cylinder right here in the middle is actually also flat. However, it's supposed to be drawn so it looks like it has 3 dimensions. So that will be our 3 dimensions. Going down, we have to talk about midpoint today, which is a point. However, he's in a very specific spot on the line segment. He's right smack dab in the middle. And because he's in the middle, this line segment AM is going to have the same length as line segment MB. If you're in the middle, it's going to take you the same distance here as it is here to get to your endpoints. And that's why those distances on the left and the right of them, of the midpoint, are equal. And so we could actually write a congruent statement where it tells me that line segment AM, which has a tick mark on it, is congruent to line segment MB, the other line segment that has the tick mark. Okay. Going down, it says, what are the coordinates of the midpoint of AC? AC has a bar above it, so we will draw a line segment and call it AC. And they're asking what are the coordinates of the midpoint. So we don't know the coordinates right here. But they will tell us that A has a coordinate of 5 and C has a coordinate of -3. And this is a little goofed up because normally the negatives are on the left-hand side and the positives on the right-hand side. So if it matters to you, you can always switch it around. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out how long is this line segment already. From 5 to -3 or -3 to 5, that's 8 units. Therefore, there must be 4 units here and 4 units here. So if you are at 5 and you travel 4 units to your midpoint, what number would you end up at? Or you could say you're at -3 and travel 4 units into your midpoint. What number would you end up at? And hopefully you then can say that the midpoint is 1. Right? 5 in 4 units would be at 1, or -3 adding 4 units would also be at 1. Okay. Scrolling down. Number 2 says if B is the midpoint of AC. So again, AC has a bar above it, so AC is a line segment. And B is the midpoint. So not only do we put B in there, we then also tick mark and tick mark. Because B is in the middle, the segment to the left of it must be equal to the segment to the right of it. AB must be equal to BC, and that's why those tick marks are there. So now we go back up and it says AB is 5x. BC is 3x plus 4. And they want you to find AB, BC, and AC, which means they actually want you to find x and then plug it back in. So this question looks a little bit different than the ones we were doing before because something's missing. We were normally given a part, and then the whole. And we would set it up as part plus part equals whole, but we don't have the whole, but we don't need it. Because B is the midpoint and we know that this segment is equal to this segment, then this expression is equal to this expression. And we have an equation that we can set up where we have an equal sign, and we could go ahead and solve that equation, and we'll have x equals in the end. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 3x. And we end up with 2x equals 4. We're going to go ahead and divide by 2, and x comes out to equal 2. Now that x is 2, we will go back and plug it in. 5 times 2, that makes AB equal to 10. Therefore, BC must also equal 10 since they're equal segments, or you could plug in and double check. And AC represents the whole, and so part, which is 10, plus part, which is 10, will give you the whole, which is 20. Next one up, number 3. Very similar, slightly different. It says if G is the midpoint of RH, and again, RH has a bar above it, so RH must be a line segment. And it says G is the midpoint. So again, we're going to put G right in the middle. And then we're going to go ahead and take our tick marks and tick mark and tick mark. So we know G smack dab in the middle of 2 congruent segments. Then they go ahead and tell us that RG is 7x minus 23. And RH, RH is the whole thing. So we're going to use our bracket and put our 6x plus 90 underneath it. So we know that those two expressions can't be equal, because if they were equal, well, one is half the line segment, the other is the whole. There's no way that a half can equal a whole. So some people will think to themselves that 2 halves would equal a whole.